Okay, so the first step is to prime your face. Primers come in all different types. You can get like putty ones like this one, you can get gels or like these two. These all do different things and it depends on like what you want it to do. Some people will tell you that primer is a lie, that you don't need it, but I like to use it just because I think it gives me that extra layer underneath to like really smooth everything out and get it perfect. This one is for blurring and redness control, so like I like to use it on my nose, around the sides because I get a little bit red there. This one is a poreless one, so it's like gonna fill in all of the pores on your nose. I only like to use that in the center of my face, like in the T-zone. That's where most of my pores are. And then this is a little bit more of the pricier one. It's the Milk Hydro Grip. Honestly, this one's my favorite, but if you're just trying to be simple and you don't want to spend a lot, then I would go with like maybe the e.l.f. one, just because this one comes in a bunch of different like uses, like for different things, and it's like $3 or $4 and it's super affordable. So for the purposes of today's video, I'm just going to use the e.l.f. one because I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible and as like affordable and friendly as possible. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that. I'm gonna go on my nose, the sides of my nose, on my forehead. I'm just gonna blend that in with my fingers. Okay, so step number 2 is to start working on the base. If you're looking for something really like natural looking and fresh and not too heavy, I'd recommend like a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer. I do not have a BB cream with me right now just because I stopped wearing BB cream a while ago, but I do have a tinted moisturizer. What the difference is between a BB cream and a tinted moisturizer is that BB creams usually have SPF in them, so they have that sun protection. Tinted moisturizers, they usually don't, or they don't always, but I think this one has a little bit of SPF in it. I can't remember, but I like to use this one when I want a little bit more coverage, or a little bit more like a lighter set, because it's supposed to be like a moisturizer. It's not supposed to look too like cakey or too full coverage. A BB cream can be like medium or light coverage, and this one's mostly light, so I'm gonna use this one today. Just go to just kind of dab this all over my face, and I like to do this with my fingers because I feel like I have a little bit more control. You can blend this out either with your fingers, like just using your fingers to like pat it in or rub it in. I'm going to use a brush because I'm that person. I'm just gonna and you can see it still looks like my skin, everything's just a little bit more evened out. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more to like my forehead and my cheeks because I feel like I need a little bit more coverage in those areas. You want to remember to bring it down onto your like jaw and your neck. You want to blend it downwards so that you don't have that harsh line. And that is one layer of your base step. So step 3 is going to be to conceal. Now we have 2 different kinds here. This one is a stick concealer. It like comes out of a tube like this. This one is for Benefit. It's not my favorite. It's very moisturizing, so if you have dry under eyes, it's really good. And then I also have the Benefit Born This Way, Too Faced Born This Way. I know makeup, obviously. I'm gonna use this one, but then I'm probably gonna go back in with this one because I don't love how much coverage this gives me. So I'm gonna go in, crank that bad boy up, and then I'm just gonna go a little bit in the corner here, right, like right there. I'm also gonna go on the outside. So we have a kind of, not like a triangle, but like one little bit in there and on the outside. And then I'm also just gonna take this on any of my zits that I have. Okay. I'm only gonna do this on one side and I'll do the other side with the other one so you can see the difference. And with the stick one, I like to use my fingers to blend this one out. And I just start with the spots. And I like to tap this one and not swipe it because you want that product to stay where you've put it. If you're swiping it, you're moving it, so you want to tap it. So I'm going to start with the inner corner. Just going to tap around. Okay, and that's the one I done. If you can see the difference, I don't know if you can see the difference, but this side is a little bit more, you can see that shadow here. And on this side, we covered that up with the concealer. And then I'm gonna do the same with this one. Same kind of deal. This one's a liquid, so I just kind of dip, and then I do, and I just kind of go in with the applicator to all of my areas. I missed my nose earlier, so I'm gonna do that there. And with liquids, I usually don't like to use my fingers for these just because they get a little bit messier and it's a little bit harder to blend with my fingers. So I'm gonna use a brush, the same brush I use for my face, like for the whole face. And I'm just gonna, I like to use the same motion as I would with my fingers, so I kind of like pat instead of swiping. So and because this brush is a little bit fat, like I can't really get in the corners here, so I like to use my finger for that corner, but literally for nothing else when I use liquid products. I'm gonna just finish that side up with that. But this one's a little bit more dewy, it's a little bit more wet looking just because of the formulation of the stick versus the liquid. It won't matter in the end, I'm just gonna set it anyways, which is the next step. So step number 4 is to set this all down. Because these are mostly like liquids and cream products, they're still a little bit wet technically. And if you generate a lot of oil on your face or you have oily skin, or just like in general for me, I like to set it down. Setting powders come in a couple different types. You have loose setting powder like this one I have here. It's just like it sounds, it's like a powder that's just floating around. Think like flour, but like you put it on your face. And then there's also the pressed powders, which are these, but they're like a solid mass, like they're not like floating around. I do not have a pressed powder settings powder right now just because I broke mine and I never replaced it because I never had a reason to. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna just take some of it and you're just gonna, oh my god, okay. Dip your brush in or swirl it around, like to tap off the excess because you don't want to get too much, and then just kind of dab it all over your face. All over your face. You don't want to put too much because you don't want to be like dry. You just want everything to be not dry, but you want it to not move, and this is how you get it to stop moving. And then that's it. If you really want to, you can take like a little sponge if you have a loose powder and like dip it in the powder, and just go right underneath your eyes. But that's like if you're being extra, you don't have to do that. Step number 5 and 6, and I'm combining them together here, it's going to be bronzer and blush. So you want to take your bronzer and a brush. It can be the same brush that you used for your setting powder, just I have a different one just because I'm that person. And you're just gonna swirl that baby in. And then what this does is it brings the life back to your face. When you put the base and the concealer on, you're kind of like, not erasing your features, but you're making it a blank canvas and you're evening everything out. So this brings kind of that dimension and that warmth and that life back. So I'm gonna take a little bit. I'm just gonna start with my cheekbones, like back and forth, kind of circular motions. And then I'm gonna do the other side, bed mass. So when the cheeks have been bronzed, I also like to go underneath my jaw to like add some more definition there and to really pop the jawline. Here, same thing. And then I also do my forehead. Just the sides, a little bit on the forehead. And if you think you went too overboard with either your bronzer or your blush, you would just take, you would just take your brush and just kind of, and a little bit of your setting powder, and you just kind of go back over it in circular motions. It makes it a little bit softer. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna blush. So I have two different kinds here. So we have a liquid blush and a powder blush. So the liquids are good if you want a more natural flush, just because they're cream, so they kind of melt into the skin a little bit better. I like a powder blush just because I just like dabbing it on and it makes me look really cute and blushy. I'm gonna use both because I want to show you what they look like. So we're gonna start with the liquid blush. Please don't look at the pump. It's really kind of nasty, not gonna lie. I've had this for a while. So with these, less is really more. Oh gosh, okay. So less is more with these, and you want to just take a little bit on your fingertip, like that, and you just kind of do. You kind of dab it on. And with these, same with all cream products, I always like to use my fingers. I find if you go in with two and you just kind of dab it, and this will look crazy at first. I'm not gonna lie to you, like you're gonna look like a clown. But if you keep going, and you just blend it out. Just keep tapping. And how I figure out where I want to put this, I just smile and just kind of dab it there. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking a little crazy right now. But again, if you think you've used too much, I go in with my foundation brush here and I just kind of like blend it out. And then it looks a little less crazy, right? So if you're using one brush, like if you only have one brush, that's totally fine. It happens. I just got liquid blush all over my hand. It's totally fine, it happens. I only had one brush when I started doing my makeup too, so I did most of my stuff with my hands. But that's fine, just go over it, work with what you got. You can do it. Makeup has no rules. I'm also just gonna go in with a powder blush because I just like the way it looks, and after we've blended out that liquid blush, I think I need a little bit, just a little bit more. Just here. And then the TikTok thing, a little bit on the nose. Make you look like you're blushing. And again, like with all things, if you think you've gone overboard, just blend it out with your brush. Now, something you do not have to do, but that I always do just because I'm extra like that, is contour your nose. So I always take just like a little bit of this like brown color here, or you can take your bronzer and I just go down the sides. Side, down the other side. underneath the tip. And then, I don't know if that does anything on camera, but in person, to me, it makes a difference, so I keep doing it. The next thing I like to do before I do anything with my eyes or my eyebrows that you also do not have to do, but I just do because I'm that person, I take a setting spray and I just spritz my face. Dropping everything. Oh no. Just like to fan it so it dries faster. Okay, the next thing I like to do is my brows. I know, Sabrina, if you're watching this, because this video is for you, I know that you have a powder wax combination. I'm going to show you how to use the powder first, just because I think it's a little bit of an easier place to start. So I don't have any brow powders, but I'm using eyeshadow because it's all the same thing, honestly, to me at least. I have a little angled brush, which I know your kit comes with. You're just going to dip it into the powder part, right? And then you want to just make little strokes. And my eyebrows are microbladed, so you're not going to see this as well as you'd normally be able to, so I'm sorry. But you go in, like so, pointy tip down, and then kind of go flick. And that was a little extra. That was a little excessive. So we're going to just, you got to be really light-handed with this. You want to make little like, strokes, and then you kind of alternate between that and this side. And then if you think you've got too much powder, you can also just like dab it off on your hand first and then go back in. Just trying to make little tiny strokes. You want to go, I like to go upwards and following kind of the direction, so like swoopy. And just like there. And then when I get to the tail, I like to just bring it out a little bit more. You can see the difference between this brow. It's a little bit more full, it's a little more defined, and then this brow looks a little more natural. It's like, it's just the plain brow that you have. So I'm gonna do the same with the other side. And those are your brows all done. Okay, next we contend with our eyes. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more, I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you can see what's happening up here, and then we will start. Okay, hopefully this is in focus. If it's not, I'm so sorry. My monitor is off to the left and I can't see it in my peripheral vision, but I'm looking at you because I want to make sure that you can see all the shit going on here. I'm gonna take a light brown. Let me just show you. Like, this is obviously my favorite color right there. You can see the pan at the bottom. So I'm gonna take a light brown. You can use any light brown you have. It doesn't have to be the same one I have. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna take a brush and I'm gonna go like, so when you look and you like poke your eye, like if you poke your eye with a pencil, where the pencil kind of like pushes in, that's your crease. So you want to take that brown color and you want to just kind of sweep it into that little hole that your eye naturally creates. Go back and forth, and little circles to bring the color out a little bit. You can use, I don't know if you can see, but that side here that we just did has a little bit more color and a little bit more definition than this side here. So we're gonna do the same because bed maths. And then the trick that I always used is I would take a shimmery color, like a light one, like this one right here. Can you see? Yeah, that one right there. If you focus, yeah. Ooh, can't see that one right there. Okay, anyways, that light color. I like to take my finger, just load it up with that color. Oh my god, fucking focus, bro, come on. Yeah, anyways, that color. And then you just kind of pop that shit on your lids with your finger. And that's the easiest eye look that I could ever teach you. It's 2 colors, like not even, you could probably do that brown part with your fingers, to be completely honest. Like I used to do it with my fingers, so you can. And then next up, we're gonna take that same brush that we used for our eyebrows, the same one with the little angle, and we're gonna just go into, you can either use the eyebrow powder, like the brown one, or you can use a brown eyeshadow, dark brown eyeshadow. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Dark brown eyeshadow. And you're just gonna start the outline. Okay, so I've drawn a line that kind of goes from when I start here, I go directly downwards. And it looks crazy, but we're gonna do the same on the other side just to start. Okay. Alright. Do you see the line? Crazy lines? Yeah? Okay. Next thing, so we're just gonna take our finger, we're gonna just pat it so that it gets a little softer. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. And this not only gives us the extra soft, like, look that we're looking for and a little bit more dimension, but it also gives us a little outline for our eyeliner. Sabrina, I need you to know I never wear a black liner anymore because I don't like the way it looks on me, but because I know you do like to use a black liner, I'm using one. How to do this? So, like that little line that we just drew, we're going to, and I know this is a scary part, but I promise, once you get the hang of it, it's not that scary. So, kind of just follow that line that you drew. And if I like to do this with my eye open so I can see, and go boop, boop, boop. And I just draw the little line. Next thing I do is I like to bring the mirror down underneath my face, and then I kind of like look down. And it's kind of bring the hand over. I'm gonna slow wing. See? Little wing. Okay, we're gonna do the same on the other side. So I like to hold it like this, and then I just kind of pull it down. Right? Just pull it down until it meets my lash. And I just finish off the little triangle. And that's the wing. And the same thing, mirror underneath, look down, and then I don't use the tip, I just kind of like place the whole thing and like stamp it where I want it. Now this eye and this eye don't match, so I'm gonna just fix that. And that's as good as it's gonna get. So we have our wings and the liner all done. Alright, next we curl the lashes. And then we go in with the mascara. If you're scared of it, just hold it close by and blink into it, like this. And then if you're feeling extra frisky, you can do your bottom lashes. Okay, yay! Okay, so here's how we're looking after all of that is done. I will probably take this eyeliner off in a couple seconds because I hate black eyeliner, like genuinely, bottom of my soul, do not like it for myself. But if you like it, by all means, you keep using it. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put on some lip products because we gotta bring life back to these lips. Okay, if you have a tinted lip balm, this would be a good place to use it. This is the closest thing I have, which is a Fenty, what is this called even? Slip Shine. And I'm just gonna and because I am who I am, I'm also going to add a gloss on top. Maybe not this one. Yeah, this one. I'm gonna add a gloss on top because I like everything to be shiny. And there you have it. It seems like a lot of steps. It took me a little bit longer because I was explaining, but if you don't want to do a wing, you can just do like a line across. If you really want to get crazy, you can tight line, which is the thing where you lift your eye up and you put it underneath. But I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Hopefully this was helpful. I will review the steps that you need to, like the order, in a second, so you can pause that, write that down, and then hopefully this helps.